Welcome to a battlefield of minds. Two grandmasters face off where every move cuts like a sword. One mistake, and it's over. This isn't just chess, it's war disguised as strategy. Let's dive in, move by move, into this epic clash. Haridas Pascua pushes 1. d4. The queen pawn strides into the center with purpose. Haridas stoking claim and daring Wesley to respond in this tense opening duel. Wesley's answers 1. Turchi. Enen, Ken, Tanda. Elmo Wenos, Tanti, Yamuizia, Ampendai. Nisten, Enshai. NF6, a knight leap that eyes the center and signals Wesley's readiness to counterpunch. Kam, Indidon, Indichewa Lesuben, Etsenobzao. Precise and unafraid of complications. Haridas plays 2 Bond stay. c4, the classic challenge to the center. Haridas probes Wesley's setup and invites a sharp, strategic struggle over key squares. Wesley, Fianchetors with 2 Bone, heading Mores. Netidiste, Ingan and Molenes Soten, and the Tedenobol Shan, Adenopunas Studian. End. g6, preparing bg7 and long diagonal pressure. Wesley opts for hypermodern counterplay, letting the bishop build a deadly gaze. Haridas develops 3 post 3, Einstein. NF3, solid development. Knight guarding d4 and preparing kingside safety. Haridas staying practical while setting traps. Wesley answers 3 Tories. Este. Oh. Indanuno. Has. bj7. Bishop settles on the long diagonal. Wesley's piece now a latent spearhead aimed at White's center and potential king. Haridas plays forward Muti. nc3, reinforcing d5 control and accelerating development. Haridas builds a classical knot of influence in the middle. Wesley strikes 4 tens, Belwonden, and Pomishasian, and Ziurima Teptil. Enemuro. Alenash. d5, an assertive central thrust. Wesley contests space directly and declares the fight for the center fully joined. Haridas develops 5. b4, bishop out actively to a natural square. Haridas pressures 7 and eyes tactical chances while keeping harmony. Wesley castles 5 Tirist, Indroan Morian, Hesta de, Idegenboen. Norijae. Chai. Oh. King to safety and rook activated. Wesley tucks his monarch away to prepare dynamic counterplay. Haridas plays 6. a3, modest but purposeful. Haridas solidifies the center and opens lines for his dark square bishop to join the fight. Wesley counterpunches 6 Porstin. And the Brunandenian. Es seum temis tuol, este. Esten. Pedat Sheenen. c5, striking at White's center immediately. Wesley sharpens the tension and signals he wants to break the structure. Haridas captures 7 per. dx5, Haridas lights his material and opens the position. Accepting a tactical maze to test Wesley's calculation. Wesley plunges 7 toward pen. Und unknown. Descendis is sendemeniole, canonoris tuan. Nafur, a fearless night jump into the heart of White's camp, challenging coordination and creating tactical threats. Haridas plays 8. Befive, Bishop invades aggressively. Haridas aims to trade and complicate, while trying to blunt Wesley's knight incursion. Wesley calmly replies, 8. In den Detail. Gone. Nad. Base c5. Bishop takes on a5. Eliminating the active piece and forcing changes that favor Black's dynamic plans. Haridas recaptures Neues Tode Töchten. Knight c5. Knight returns the blow, centralizing and keeping pieces active. Haridas refuses to surrender initiative easily. Wesley captures 9 to Int. And none. Eowyn. Next c3. Wesley snatches on c3. Fracturing White's pawn structure and converting dynamics into structural advantage. Haridas responds, 10 Stoigis. Bxc3. Recapture opens the b-file, and leaves doubled pawns but grants Haridas possibilities for rook activity and counterplay. Dekande, counter, but die. Wesley advances 10 port Q. Aston. Alminia. Kafif. Queen infiltrates. Eyeballing c3 and the queen side. Wesley hunts for concrete targets with calm intent. Haridas replies 11. Woman. Qb3. Queen defends c3 and counters the pressure. Haridas aims to neutralize threats while keeping options open. Wesley repositions 11. Panologadian. Underin. Inmo was standing in descending a stick terror way. OMZ. QE7. Queen shifts to a safer, flexible square. Maintaining pressure and coordinating with minor pieces for the middle game. Haridas plays 12 Perstine. In f3. Knight retreats to solidify center and reroute for defense or attack. Haridas rekis his pieces into better formation. Wesley captures 12 Tort. Anna wanda denita den Tirin. Ischen de Terro und Alien. Undermukai. DX-c4. A tactical exchange opening lines. Wesley wins a pawn and reshapes the center, increasing his initiative. Haridas replies 13. Bxt4. Bishop recaptures energetically, activating itself and restoring material equality while keeping tension in the position. Wesley develops 13 Poppen. Nianai. Intern. N9. Gasio. Ende 7. Knight trip to 7. Almoish. Coordinating defense and preparing to jump to better squares, while keeping control over key central points. Haridas storms 14 P. Trenda. Chienks, a sharp pawn thrust into enemy lines. Haridas seeks to disrupt Black's coordination and create targets in Black's camp. Wesley calmly captures 14 Peche. Nice you. NT. QSGSCN. Queen takes the pawn. neutralizing the thrust and proving Wesley's precise calculation in snuffing out threats. Haridas brings 15 parent, Enezihu, Monolenbox. Aldonan, rook to the d-file. Haridas readies pressure and aligns heavy pieces for central and kingside operations. Wesley repositions 15-20. Understanden, that Yokne stagia, Hamoling kennes Chua Diolo ait. Instandian Molen, Irtondayan, Shiolne, Estimatatsan, Isatabadrido. NB6, knight heads to b6. Improving squares. Eyeing c4 and a4. And adding flexibility to black's piece setup. Haridas lifts 16. d4, an aggressive rook lift. Haridas seeks to swing the rook into attack and create tactical motifs on the fourth rank. Wesley answers 16, pot pick. Ban. Nedamo Wimeset, Tadeo, Armoriden Pendix Kenna. Anidia. Bf5. Bishop develops with tempo. Attacking the rook's intentions and stabilizing black's central control while seeking counterplay. Haridas, Castles, 17-20. Oh! King tucked safely and rook connected. Haridas finishes development and signals readiness for the middle game storm. Wesley activates 17. Portskuil. 1. Imbamisene. And upon the Nishimokle, in the Tendial, Amolunchadanishim, und Egyptianites. Race 8. Rook to 8. Wesley mobilizes heavy pieces to contest open files and prepare decisive pressure on the queen side. Haridas Yums, 18%. Nefev, a theatrical knight leap into the center. Haridas aims to provoke weaknesses and crank up tactical friction. Wesley eyes the center with 18. Kandi. Pandenin. Qf6, queen centralizes. Watching Nef5 and Four. Wesley coordinates heavy pieces for a surgical response. Haridas pushes 19 Toto. Four, an aggressive pawn shove. Haridas opens lines and seeks to chase black's pieces while launching kingside intentions. Wesley captures 19 to Dian, winning pictures. Onenanian, Endes. Neon, Ananian, Benina road in the chase. Nixie F4, knight grabs on c4. Removing a key defender and converting activity into concrete material and positional gains. Haridas replies 20. Penwe, Tomowen Tenishu Buyurigan, Elentindo, Unisei. Rx4. Rook recaptures energetically. Trading off pieces to try and reduce black's initiative and seek counter chances. Wesley responds 20. 10. D. Easts. Rx4. Rook takes on c4. Simplifying while keeping pressure. Wesley trades into a favorable end of activity and coordination. Haridas recaptures 21 Tartin, and there is Tmolund and is 10. Kui xe4. Queen takes on c4. Restoring material balance and centralizing the queen to contest the open files. Wesley plays 21. Tertur names, with Steve Pladen Dech, Het Walker. Ulmunen. Shiadin. Ian. Chiwen I Silje, Edimistene, and Stewart Chow, and Anta. QB6, queen to b6. Targeting weaknesses, and coordinating with rooks and bishops for a long-term assault. Haridas slides 22. Rione, rook to Aone. Consolidating. Defending the back rank, and preparing to contest open lines with renewed vigor. Wesley replies 22. Penny, Anissimai. The 6, bishop develops to e6. Challenging white's queen and seeking trades that maintain black's structural advantages. Haridas plays 23. QB4, queen tucks into b4. Trying to simplify or trade queens while keeping pressure on the queen side alive. Wesley takes 23. Who xb4, queen exchange simplifies the position. Wesley willingly trades to exploit his superior minor piece harmony. Haridas recaptures 24 petition. Cxb4, pawn recapture leaves doubled pawns but opens files for white's rooks. A risky but fighting structure. Wesley replies 24 pen. Bx2, bishop swoops to a2 and grabs a pawn. Black's piece is now active and hunting in white's camp. Haridas counters 25 Tistunen, Bestellen Owen Richelekio. Raune, rook leaps to a1, aiming to challenge the invading bishop and regain control over the a-file. Wesley retreats 25. Titmesten de Wisurin, Etigenet Po, Esteo, and Dainrain. Yin wen Ban in Awen, wen Bestia Nei, un Besse, Bestpaugigi. Inter. BD5. Bishop smartly repositions to d5. Centralizing and maintaining pressure while avoiding traps. Haridas advances 26. Ra5. Rook aggressively climbs to a5. Seeking counterplay and aiming to harass black's queenside structure. Wesley solidifies 26. Aneaman anti. Date. Rook to date. Wesley consolidates control over open ranks and prepares coordinated threats along the files. Haridas captures 27. Pingwurnsel, Tudes. Xa7. Bold rook capture. Haridas scoops a pawn and flashes counterplay. Willing to court complications to survive. Wesley responds 27. Pestiroidazain. Antain. A8. Rook swings to Sate. Gearing up for file dominance and to counter white's active rook on the 7th rank. Haridas thrusts 28 top turn. D4. A sharp pawn push to open lines and chase black's pieces. Haridas pushing for breathing room and attack. Wesley checks 28, 10. Enin. Nenorwis, Etenesil. Inabentine. Arconeo, rook slides with check. Forcing the white king into motion while escalating tactical pressure decisively. Haridas moves 29. Port. Kfdu. King steps toward the center nervously. Haridas choosing to keep active defense, while braving enemy rooks. Wesley presses 29. Andomadin, Mulisin, Uranekesh. O, Ingin. RC21T. Rook continues the hunt with tempo, driving the white king in pieces into precarious positions. Haridas flees. 30. KD3. King runs into the open, looking for refuge. Haridas gambling. That activity can outweigh exposure. Wesley commits 30. Danny. Into. Estoren Umenmano. Testadiakne. Estonerogon. Argito Intenin. Rook involves with a deadly check. Wesley's pieces coordinate like predators closing the net on white's king. Haridas shifts. 31. Cap 3. King sidesteps to H3. Tucking behind pawns but still dangerously exposed to black's relentless pressure. Wesley plays 31. Testerumorn, Tenstenesimis. Nilingen, Inese. Nor ne testornde. Ants. F6. Pawn push to blunt white's knight and create luft. Wesley tightens the position and prepares decisive maneuvers. Haridas Jums, 32-2. N7. Knight leaps to d7, seeking forks and counterchances. Haridas hunting for a tactical twist to upset black's plan. Gangelmin Wee, Ganiwada Tenor P. Iadanin. Wesley answers 32. N. Antine. Anstey. RFD2. Rook lands on F2 with purpose. Coordinating threats and aiming to exploit white's fragile king position. Hedge. Haridas strikes 33. 8. Rook gives a defiant check from E8. A brave intermezzo, attempting to snag tempo and complicate the finale. Wesley calmly moves. 33. And they'll win. Pankas, Forlonen, and Kenya, Amobiche, Edith. S. K7. King steps to D7, out of check. Wesley's composure never wavers under white's last gasps of resistance. Haridas pushes 34. E4. Pawn forward to open lines and pry at black's structure. A desperate bid for counterplay and breathing space. Wesley replies 34. In morne, and in tennis sigictian, in tennis jam tol, and a mornum sibenea. On the scene, and a tennis des, Imormonio Penishil, and Yodermo. RF3T. Rook checks again, Himawodus, et Puidus. Driving the white king further into the kill zone, with ruthless, patient, precision, Onmunioresh, et Kermainion Polehi. Haridas retreats 35. KJ2. King slides back towards safety. Haridas searching for shelter while trying to keep pieces connected. Eddie. Wesley captures 35-30. Intinuo. Und. Big C4. Bishop takes on E4. Gobbling a central pawn and removing a key defender. Increasing black's material and tactical edge. Haridas moves 36 pete. Kagoman. King retreats to Gon. Clinging to remnants of defense as the noose tightens around white's camp. Wesley delivers 36. Enaye. und sieben, ein, oh, ah. And after I say, au. Born, and Tonakin, and Simari K, and Chatan. ESF4, Rook captures on Fower. Winning material and further exposing White's king, while converting activity into decisive advantage. Haridas, offers 37, Pendatin. Re-8, Rook swings to 8 in a final. Defiant attempt to create threats and complicate Wesley's finishing plan. Wesley finishes 37, Pennant. And in einer Weise. Und dann Tonen, es sehen, in the stubborn auffallen. R8 Cg40, Rook takes on G4 with check. The final blow that seals the position and forces White's resignation. Pendard. Game over. 0 und es. Petmo winnen. Picture yes. The video ends here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Thank you again. Everyone, see you in the next video.